If you are managing brand deals, influencers, or any other partnerships in like 5 different places, don't have like a CRM system where you can track who you're collaborating with and how much you're paying them and what the status is of those projects, then you are living life literally on hard mode. And I really think you need a system for this. So I'll show you how to track every deal, every dollar you spend on partnerships and influencers, all inside of a simple dashboard in Notion, and I'll show you how it is built. And if we haven't met yet and you're new here, hi, I'm Maria. I'm a Notion ambassador and full-time content creator, and yeah, I make content about Notion and personal branding, so stick around if that's interesting to you. And today we're talking about CRM and partnership tracking. So let me show you the tracker and explain how it's built. So this is a dashboard which is similar to what I've built for a client recently, and basically it helps you track the influencers or partners or collaborators or sponsors that you have. It could be anything you need. Like if you're an influencer manager, you can just have it just for influencers, so CRM, influencer CRM, and then you add the names here of influencers, and then underneath that we have a second database and it tracks the actual engagements. So for example, if you worked with an influencer 3 times on 3 different videos, you would add video 1, video 2, video 3, and then connect these projects or engagement with the influencer here in a second column. So you can just select the influencer you worked with. The status, if you paid for a project, if it's planned, the video is planned, if it's paid, if it's active. We have these 2 databases that are connected with each other. And underneath that, I also added a chart, and this chart shows how much you've spent on each influencer or each partner. So yeah, this is the rough overview of what it is. Let's go back to the first database. Here are the names of our partners or influencers. The second column is a status column, so you can see if it's a prospect, if you contacted the person, if you negotiated, if they're an active influencer or partner, if they're on pause or lost. Second is type, and if you don't need the type, you can also just delete the property, and you only have influencers in there, and you don't need a type. But yeah, influencer, for example, or if it's a event venue, agency, sponsor, creator, whatever it may be. City, country, self-explanatory, you can add more countries and more cities. Channels, so if it's an Instagram influencer or if it's a newsletter creator, then you can tag it here. Relationship owner, if you're working in a team and you use this page with multiple people, you may want to add the relationship owner as well. So in this case, I'm the only one in this workspace, so it's me. And then LinkedIn, their LinkedIn link or their Instagram link, of course you can change it as well. Email, their email, phone number, and next touch point, which I love. So you can decide, okay, I am currently in touch with this person, Grant, and I want to follow up on the proposal that I've sent him on November 3rd, let's say. And then what Notion does is it automatically has this reminder set for 1 day before. You can set it here, edit property notifications, and then 1 day before it will notify you, remind you that you need to follow up with this person. Or you can also change it to notification on day of event. So once the November 3rd comes, it reminds you to send a follow-up. This is a roll-up property that shows you the last invoice dates. So how many invoices did you send them and what were the dates of the invoices? And then this property shows the total invoiced. So how many in total have you invoiced, like how much you're spending on each influencer or partner, basically. This view shows a pipeline view, so it's like a Kanban board and you can track basically or like move people around if you contacted them. It's really nice if you're having multiple people, like, this list will be long after a while. Then we have touch points, calendar, so when you need to follow up. Again, it's this property here, the date, next touch point. If you add more, you'll see it will be more people shown here. And then archive is all of the partnerships that are lost or on pause, as you can see here. Let's move on to the second database, which is the engagements and projects database, because again, you can have multiple projects with one influencer, one partner, right? So with one event venue, you can collaborate 2 times or 3 times or more. And so you want to track how much are you spending per engagement and how much are you spending per total per partner, and to also be able to tell later on how effective the return on investment is for each partner, and if you want to continue collaborating, if it's a very lucrative partnership, right? So here it's a database. It's connected to the first database, so you can select the partner. So if I add a new partner here, new partner or influencer or whatever it may be, and now I can select here new partner, so you can select the people from this database in this database because they're connected, right? So it's really nice. And in this database we have the partner, we have the status. For example, if the video is, planned, or like let's say UGC video, you asked an influencer for UGC video, this is a UGC video with this person, the invoice has been paid, the start of the collaboration is this date, the end of the collaboration or due date is this date, and then the deliverable is the video, so you can choose here and you can add your own. The budget is this. When you're negotiating with the person, you can have your own kind of internal budget, right? And then when you're negotiating with the influencer, you can of course maybe you can go down in price a little bit, and then you can also note down the agreed rate that you're going to invoice in here, 600 for example in this case, and then the currency and the invoice date. So when you're sending the invoice link, you can link to your Google Drive invoice, for example, or attach it directly. Contract link, if you have a contract with the influencer. And again, the next touch point, because you may want to follow up about the video, how it's going, if the partner is, not as proactive as they could be. Then scope, you can add a note about the scope, what the project is. You can open this page here, and then you can even describe what the video is about, what the campaign is about on this page as well, if you want. So there are multiple ways, and you can also add notes here. You can also view this table data by status, so you can see active and paid collaborations and canceled collaborations. By partner, you can see your videos by partner. To pay, so any collaborations that are where the status is in progress. So for example, to pay or active, and then archived are the collaborations that are done. Underneath this, we have a chart, which is quite helpful, where you can see how much you've invoiced. So what it's based on the agreed rate. So the agreed rate is also the rate that you invoiced, and you can see here how much in sum you paid to each creator. And that is built like this. What to show is agreed rate, and then sum. So that's why it's showing the total amount. If you look at grant, so grant, it says 1,100. Grant here is agreed rate 500. Grant here has two engagements. One is a UGC video, the second one is a second UGC video, and the first invoiced amount is 500, second is 600, and in total they are 1,100. So you can see here how much you have invoiced. But that's not all, because if you go into each person in a CRM and you open their page, you can, of course, so note down the most important data here as properties. You can also take notes here on each influencer and partner for yourself. And you can go to this tab, which is called engagement/campaigns, and you can view the campaign summary, which is quite nice, because instead of the alternative would be you go to engagements, then you go by partner, then you go here, new collaboration. You can click into it, and you need to review all of this data, all of these properties, which is quite overwhelming, I would say, to see it all at once. And if you have, for example, a manager or someone you are sharing the data with who wants to just see at a glance what campaigns do we have right now planned, with which partners, and what is the status, this is a really nice way to see this data all at once. And it's a formula. I can show you here. It's a formula property in the engagements and projects database, and it basically summarizes all of the properties that you see here. So it's quite a long formula. It's like changes dynamically. So if the collaboration is in progress, then it says in progress, if it's active, if the payment is to pay, if the status is to pay, then it's pending payment. And if it's not, if it's planned, then the status says planned. The rate is shown here with the currency amount, and the deliverable is shown as well. So that's quite nice. Or if it's been paid, it shows paid. So it's all like dynamic, and it changes dynamically. If I go by status and then I move this to pay, to paid, you know, the status changes here as well in the summary. So that's quite nice, like this. I think it's one of the best features, the formula feature in Notion, because it lets you see data at a glance. And nowadays you can even write the formula like this, write complex formulas like this with AI. And I made a video about that recently, so I'll link it somewhere here. But yeah, it's really, really nice to have this overview. So whenever you have a new partnerships with a person, with a partner, with an influencer, you can add it here, for example, like connect it to the partner, and then, you know, set a start and end date, and then a deliverable, and the rate, and the budget, etc. Or you can go to the influencer directly, open their page, open it as a full page, for example, add your notes here about the partner, go to this tab, engagements and campaigns, and then you can add new campaigns like this directly. So like UGC video, for example, UGC video. Then from here you can open the page, you can add all of these information like this, budget, agreed rate, currency, invoice date, links to the invoice, scope, etc. And then you'll see that this summary automatically updates. So yeah, that is how this CRM works. You know, it's a free way, you know, if you already have Notion, it's a free way to track influencer partnerships, any partnerships you have, event partnerships, location partnerships, collaborations. You can track all of this. You can even use the system as a founder for your clients, or as a freelancer for your clients, and tracking client projects. That works exactly the same. You know, if you're, instead of budget, you can have your you know, ideal price that you suggest, and then the agreed rate is what you agreed on with the client. So this is quite a versatile system. A very quick run through on how you can build something similar. Basically, you create first database, inline database, you call it CRM, right? And then you create a second database underneath called partnerships. And here you add the names, right? So Maria is an influencer. You can start adding the status column. You can add the type, the city, like selectors. Let's say, let's add the city, Berlin, right? You can add, what else do you need? The date for next touch point, follow-up date. Notion already suggests properties for you, you know, status update, lead source, that's nice, lead source, let's say LinkedIn, and you can add more later. And then that's most of it, right? That's quite nice. Then in a partnerships database, you can create a property called relation, and you can link this relation to the CRM, make it a two-way relation. And then now it lets you select Maria from the influencers list. So you can be like, UGC video is the project or partnership, right? What else do we need? We need start and end date, status. Let's add the status, and a date. You know, let's just add date for now because I'm just showing it for the purpose of it. We can add a number property for the budget. So number, let's say just rate, right? So this is already the foundation. You just continue adding the columns that you need that, you know, I show here as well. And what else do we need? You can add more views, of course. You can add views by going to this plus, add a new view, and then let's do a board, for example, right? And now you can, let's show the client here, or like the partner. So You can kind of hide and show properties here for each view, which is quite nice. And what else do we need? We want to add this engagement campaigns summary, right? So for that, what you would need to do is go to the partnerships database, add a property, and then add a formula property, and then edit formula, and then write a campaign summary, write a partnership. I call it partnerships summary overview. Let's see what it does, because I haven't added all of the properties, but once you have added all of the properties, it will, be better. But Notion AI is writing the formula. Let's write done, and it wrote like a little summary. Of course, you can follow up with Notion AI. You can say, I want you to add more color. I want you to bold some words. I want you to show me the price as well. But this is already, a dynamic summary that updates as you update this database. So for example, done, status done, it changes, status in progress, the summary changes. Let's rename this to summary. And now what I'm going to do is, let's add a rate, 500. Again, it adds it to the summary. Date, let's say October. Now I'm gonna add this summary. I wanna add it to my CRM database. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to go to open the page. In full page, I'm going to click customize layout. I'm going to click tabbed. I'm going to click here on plus to add a relation, like add a new tab here, add a relation to a different database. We already related the two databases together, so we connected them together, the partnerships and the CRM. So I'm selecting partnerships. And now I'm going to tweak the formatting here a little bit. So I'm going to hide the name of the person because it says so here. I'm going to hide all of the properties, actually, other than the summary. And I'm going to wrap the summary in view like this so that you can see the summary, the full summary here. And I'm going to apply to all pages. So now whenever you open you create a new, let's say we have a new influencer called Anna, right, in Berlin, blah, 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 lead source LinkedIn. We want to make an event with her connected to Anna. Connected to Anna. Date is this. Rate is 700, right? We have the summary here, and we also have it, we can hide it actually here if we want. And then whenever I go to Anna, I see partnerships. This is a partnership we have with her. I can add more partnerships, event 2, and it gets added to the partnerships database. Again, I can, set the rate, set the date, and anything else you need. You can add more properties as you need them. But that is a very simple version of how you can create something like this yourself. This has obviously more properties and more views that I already filtered, and I already customized everything here. But this is the quite simple. The basis is quite simple. You just need to play around with it and know what you want, what data you want to have in both of these databases. And if you want to skip the building part, skip the hassle of building this from scratch, I have created a template so you can get it. I will add it down below, or you can comment CRM and I'll send you the link to the template. And if you're thinking, wow, this is quite overwhelming, I don't know how to build anything in Notion, I'm still quite new to it, I need to practice, I have a video for beginners. So Notion for beginners, kind of like the basics of Notion. So I'll also link it here so you can watch it next. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know how you like this CRM partnerships tracker idea, and if you would add anything to it that I maybe missed. I'm happy to add it to the next iteration or show you how to build it. And if you have any Notion questions, leave them down below. Happy to take a look. Yeah, bye bye.